Welcome, Just Frats viewers. Well, today is Wednesday. You know what that means? It's the recommended read of the week, and I have a good one. It's a little bit different than you would expect, but wait till you see what I'm going to reveal this week. We got a lot going on. We have a lot of things going on in sports. Sports is crazy. The Yankees starting pitching is a mess. NFL free agency is going on. The NBA, we're going to talk about the idiot of the week, which happens to come from the NBA. And when it comes to business for sales, we're going to talk about prospecting. Probably one of the worst things that sales reps hate to do, but they know they need to do it to be successful. So I'm going to talk about my 4-step program that involves prospecting, and hopefully they'll give you a little bit more guidance and direction to make that area of finding new customers a little bit easier. So we got a lot going on in this episode, and I really appreciate you joining me and spending a little time, and hopefully I could bring a little bit of value and to make your wallet a little bit thicker, and we can have a little bit of fun. But let's get down to the idiot of the week. This owner of the NBA, James Dolan, he owns the New York Knicks. Now, being from New York and growing up from New York, I remember the heyday when the Knicks ruled up there, and now they're a laughing stock of professional sports. Not the NBA, but professional sports, because of this owner. They're actually losing on purpose right now to wrap up the year. They've been doing it all year long, so they think they could get the first pick in the NBA draft coming up, which I believe if there's legalized gambling, nobody should be allowed to bet on the Knicks since they're going out there to try to lose on purpose. That's besides the point. This clown has developed a team that's so bad they're in a position to do this. But let's get to the point that was the idiot of the week. Now, he's the owner of the Knicks, owns the Rangers, Madison Square Garden. The value of the whole, if he sold everything, is probably worth about $6 billion. So the man is very wealthy. He owns Cablevision. This week, this very thin-skinned owner was at a basketball game at the Knicks, and they lost. Again, I think they only have 13 wins this year. As he's walking out of Madison Square Garden, a fan leans over the railing and said, "You should sell the team." And then the owner decided to get into a conversation with him and said, "What'd you say?" He goes, "I think you should sell the team." No foul language, no beer throwing, no cursing, nothing like that. So the owner said, "Well, I'll tell you what, how would you like to watch the rest of Knicks games from your television from now on?" He had this fan thrown out of the game and banned from Madison Square Garden. So he can't ever go see the Rangers play, Billy Joel play, or any other Knicks game play, because he felt that he was ambushed and was rudely attacked at a game. He should be going in those stands, sitting down with that fan and asking, why is he saying that? He should be paying that fan. He should actually be giving his money back to that fan for showing up at probably one of the most expensive arenas in the country to watch a sporting event. And this fan was not drunk. He was not belligerent. You could go to the TMZ videos they have on this. This was absolutely nuts. And this is not the first time this clown has done it. Now, I'm just curious, New York Knicks fans, what happens if you started a chant at the next basketball game to sell the team? Is he going to shut the lights off and throw everybody out for life? I think somebody should stand up for this fan up in New York. And I think something should be done by the NBA to investigate this clown and the franchise and what they're doing. I'm just saying. It's a shame. Next, the NFL. Free agency. Running crazy. The Jets landed big with a big time running back, Bell. He's out of the NFL for a year, so who knows how he's going to be, how much rust he's going to be, if he lost a step or if it was good for his body to take off. But things have been, and then the big trade yesterday, the Giants traded their wide receiver Beckham to Cleveland. So now the Cleveland fans have been drinking a lot of beer and a lot of whiskey, and all of a sudden talking about the Super Bowl. All right, Cleveland, wake up. This crazy trade that took place last night. Did anyone else read in the newspaper that Belichick and his quarterback retire from football yesterday? You know, the NFL Super Bowl champs who go every single year. Are they still playing football in New England? Because according to Cleveland, they're the shoo-in. Folks, congratulations, you won't be the laughing stock of the NFL no longer. But tap the brakes on this Super Bowl talk. As far as the Yankees go, it looks like Tanaka will be the starting pitcher to lead off the opening day. So, Yankees are in good hands. He's, it's not a disaster. Problem is what's going to happen game 4 or 5 of the season when we only have 3 starting pitchers. So we'll be relying on the guys from AAA to fill in the plugs to our pitchers get healthy. So I'm curious on how that's going to play out. So a lot of crazy stuff happening in sports. As you know, on this broadcast, we talk sports, we talk food, we talk business, and if an idiot of the week pops up, we'll even discuss that. But I hope you're having fun of the episodes I've shown so far. I hope it's been helpful for the salespeople, and at the same time, it brought some entertainment a little bit. It's not been a boring video for you to watch. I'm still working on going live. That's not happened yet because I haven't figured out the software that I properly need on a Apple computer to be able to do that. But from what I understand, my son is rest assured that he will have that operational for me pretty soon. Now let's talk prospecting. All right. Now in the sales world, prospecting is one of the harder things to do. If you take all the salespeople in the world that are asked to leave their job every year and put them in a stadium, 80% of those people were asked to leave because they could not get in front of customers. They lost their job because they couldn't prospect to get in front of customers. The other 20% were probably CrapBags. They were probably lazy, whatever the case might be. But the 80% that lost their jobs because of prospecting, most likely companies lost some very, very good employees. They just couldn't get in front of customers. And quite a bit of that, I blame companies because of poor training when it comes to prospecting. They do a lot of product training out there. You work for pharmaceutical, wireless, software, man, they train the heck out of product. And yeah, of course you need product knowledge. But there's also this other skill that they fall short on, and that's prospecting. And they basically tell people, all right, start making your calls. Okay, boss. And the salesperson says, okie dokie. They get on the phone and they really don't know what to say. They're getting hung up on. They're getting a lot of negative answers. They don't know how to handle objections because the training wasn't supplied. And so when it comes to training B2B sales reps and owners who are looking for business and they know they have to get out in the community, work the phones, my number one training class I start off with everyone is prospecting. Now, this program I developed in the prospecting, it's more than just dialing the phone and hoping for luck. That's about a 1% take rate. So picture making 100 phone calls and making one appointment, and the other 99 were either voicemails, hang-ups, or someone cursed you out. Over a period of time, that will wear you down because even though you're doing your job because your boss said so, having that much negativity in a day is really going to wear you out over a period of time. So what I've done is put together a prospecting training program to increase your odds of landing appointments. And now one part of the training class, I talk about the 4 P's of prospecting. That's what we're going to discuss right now. Prospecting, I believe, is made up into 4 areas, okay? And I call them the 4 P's. And the first P is preparation. Now, quite a few reps, they'll find some phone numbers and just start calling and they ask for the person in charge, and they just wing it, so to speak, because that's what they're trained to do. The first, that preparedness is huge. And what I train reps is to make sure you know who you're calling, you know who their email, what their email address is, what their title, okay? If you're looking for owners, look up owners. Find the owners, their name, their phone number, email address, and that would be the preparation part of research. Another piece of the preparation part is what you're going to say. Do you have a talk track? And I do not use the word script. Script translates to me as telemarketers. A talk track is something that I teach reps on how to develop, and I give them ingredients to a cake, basically. And I don't care if they make cupcakes, layer cake, sheet cake, or a bundt cake. It doesn't matter to me. All I care about when they develop their talk track, they're adding their personality with the ingredients that I recommend that they have when they're talking to a potential client on the phone. So we work on developing a talk track that they're comfortable with when they are making phone calls, or if they're talking to someone live at a networking event, their talk track can be used in many different ways. So that's part of the preparation, knowing what you're going to say. And if you're just winging it, you're right out of the gate on the first step on the path of failure. You're going to crash and burn. Trust me. So the other part of preparation is understanding the vertical that you're calling in. Are you calling in the construction industry, the hospitality industry? When you need to understand the industries you're calling in to make sure that you understand their pain points. And understanding their pain points makes your life a little bit easier when you're on the phone with a client and you're proving to them that you understand their world. And this is all part of the research that I strongly recommend before you even make one call. Now, my son just walked in. Hey, Nick, your dog needs to be taken care of. So, sorry for that, but it's part of making videos, right? So, preparation is huge. And you never want to do this prep work during selling hours. You should either be selling or prospecting. All this work should be done before 9 a.m. or after 4 p.m. This prep work is not done on selling time. You'd never want to dip into those hours because those hours are precious. That's where you make the money. So that's the first P, preparation. Second P, you need to put together a game plan. So planning is the second P. Now, what are you talking about when planning? Well, if you want to know when you're going to make phone calls, you open up your calendar and start filling in the calendar with your name and an appointment for yourself. That's prospecting time. Non-negotiable, it can't be canceled. So you put in the calendar, all right, Monday at 11 o'clock for an hour, I'll be doing phone calls. Tuesday from 10:30 to 11, I'm going to be sending out emails to the people I left messages for. Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I'm going to be making calls. Thursday, I'm going to a networking event at such and such time. All these activities need to be on your calendar as an appointment with yourself, and you never cancel it. Every time you cancel an appointment for prospecting, all you did was let your family down, because that's how you make money. You need to have customers to be able to sell them. And if you don't try to set appointments, you won't have customers. No customers, no cash, can't pay the electric bill. See how that works? Now, that's the planning piece. Very important. And what I always do and train is on Friday afternoon, I look at my calendar for next week. And where all the gaps are, that's where I put in my prospecting time. If you do these steps, I'm telling you, your life when it comes to prospecting is going to be a lot easier than what you're doing now versus not having a plan. Okay, so that's the second P. People, that's the easy one. Yep, it's the easiest one to do, but it's also the easiest one not to do. Okay, oh, I'll just figure it out. And then they put their name down maybe on Tuesday from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and they decide to do something else, and they cancel it. And I go, why'd you do that? They go, I'll just double up tomorrow. Folks, this isn't Vegas. You can't double up to catch up. It will not work. I promise you. Stick to a plan, use your calendar, and live by it. The third P, it sounds common sense, but it's the actual performance piece, the actual doing piece. And you'll be amazed how many people will schedule prospecting and they will do anything they can to get out of it. They will light their car on fire to make sure they go out and meet the fire department so they don't have to prospect. I've seen crazy things to get out of prospecting. The prospecting piece, the performance piece. If you plan on going to a networking event at 5 o'clock after work, I know it's like, oh man, I put in a long day. I don't really feel like going. Is it on the calendar? You're going. You need to be dedicated to the performance piece. It's something that sales reps feel that there's something a little bit more important to do than the actual part of working the phones, getting out, pulling doors, meeting clients out in the field, going to networking events, sending out emails. That's what makes sales professionals from average to great. The great ones will be dedicated to this program that I'm talking to you about. Those are your 6-figure income salespeople and business owners. The last P is persistence. That's the fourth P. So we got prepare, plan, perform, and now persistence. And what I mean by that, you'll be amazed how many people will call, get a voicemail, leave a message, hopefully leave a message, and they never call them back. I was like, why didn't you call them back? They go, well, I left them a message. I'm going to let you in on a secret. You need to keep calling for them to say hello and talk to the people on the phone. And I'm going to tell you a quick story here about persistence. One day, I was a GM for a company up in Savannah, Georgia. When I took over the market, all of a sudden, I was getting a lot of phone calls. People were prospecting me. And one was from a radio station, and he kept on leaving messages and messages and messages. And I never returned his call. And one day, I was crossing the sales floor, and I heard someone say, there's Mr. Fratz right there. So I turn around thinking it's a customer who needed assistance. And I introduced myself, and he introduced me. He was the sales rep from the radio station. And I was very, very embarrassed. So, and the reason why I was embarrassed, because I never called him back. It was poor manners. Just to tell him I wasn't interested, or not at this time. So I said, come on in my office. I'll give you 5 minutes right now. 2 hours later, his presentation was flawless. And I pulled all my radio ads from the competition, canceled all my billboards, and gave him all my marketing. My numbers increased drastically because I made this decision. After that meeting, we were wrapping up, and I said, Jim, you called me an awful lot. I said, it was amazing how many calls you left me. So he opens up this little black and white composition notebook like you had in grade school. And he's counting up. And he goes, I left you 26 messages. I said, wow. I hit 26 deletes. I said, why did you ever stop? He goes, you never called me to stop. He goes, if you told me to stop calling, I would have. Now that's persistence. I made his year with that contract. So you don't stop calling until they tell you to stop. I was a big fan when my reps got threatened with restraining orders. Call. You never know what's on the other end of the phone waiting for you. And I'm not telling you to be rude. Leave great messages, bring value, and you will become memorable. And you're going to win some of those that took you a little bit harder to get a hold of that decision maker and get in front of them. Folks, that's the 4 P's. If you follow these 4 P's, I promise you prospecting will be a little bit easier. It works. Prepare, plan, perform, persist. You do those 4 things, your numbers will increase. Well, I would say your appointments will increase. Who knows how good your sales skills are? But that's a different call. That's a different video. Now let's talk about the reveal recommended read of the week. Now, told you I'm going to be a little bit different. This week we do not have a business book. It's a little bit different. This book, in it quite a bit, and I've had it for a very, very long period of time. My grandmother gave it to me. And this book was written in 1967. And if for you Italians out there, you're going to love it. And for the people who are not Italian, who love Italian cooking, or wish they could cook like Italian, you're going to love this book. Now, the name of the book is Mama Leone's Italian Cookbook. Now, what I like about this book, every recipe is authentic Italian. Everything from a homemade sauce to stuffed clams to cacciatoris, parmesans, you name it. This book is my right hand in the kitchen when it comes to Italian cooking. I also love the story in the beginning of the book about Mama Leone. Now, she started, I guess this is a little bit about business. 1905 in New York is when she started her business in her living room. And that was her first restaurant. It was able to seat 20 people. She was an unbelievable cook. They had a wine cellar in their house, and when it got more than 20 people, the overflow would go down and she would set up the wine cellar with long benches and chairs. And boy, can she cook Italian. Then, over the years, she moved to the theater district. And she moved from a place that was seating 20 people up to 1,500 seats at Mama Leone's in Manhattan in the theater district. Now, in the late 1970s, I had the opportunity to go to that restaurant. I've never been in a restaurant like that in my life. I was very young. I was about 17, and I was on a school trip. I was going down to see a play, and myself and a couple friends, that's where we decided to eat dinner. And it had, you want to talk about some of the best Italian food I've ever had in a restaurant. It was just, I thought my grandmother was in the kitchen. Now, it had the violin player. It had everything. It was just something to see. And the over the years, the book actually is written by Gene Leone, her son, and talks about how it all started and how it all ended. Okay, it turned into a corporation, bought them out. They're in the middle of Manhattan, big time corporation that wanted the property. They kept the Mama Leone name. Of course, a lot of the cooks and the recipes were all the same. And I believe it finally closed down. The property became so valuable they tore the building down and they never reopened. I believe that happened in the early 1990s. But anybody who had the chance to go to Mama Leone's to eat, what a place to eat. It was just something to see. So if you want a book that's going to have some of the best Italian recipes and they're easy to do the way the book is written. Now you say, where can I get that? Amazon has them. I've researched it before. Obviously they're going to be used. I researched it before I made this video. You're able to get it for about 20 bucks on Amazon. If you love to cook, order it. If you're looking to cook and you want to have great Italian food, this book will turn you into an Italian chef. It's a great book. That's the recommended read of the week. Well, that's all I got for you. A couple things I like, if you can, if you're new, please hit the subscribe button down below. Go ahead. I dare you. Hit it. Some of my current subscribers, hit that like button. And if you can, share it. I really would appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, you can send me an email, ed@fratzed, FRATZED.com, ed@fratzed. Feel free to send me an email if you have any questions regarding sales. And if you're looking for, training for your company, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you're looking for a sales coach, I'm always available. Thanks again, and I look forward to our next chat.